environment, storage, etc., and allow business to use shared infrastructure like power, roads, waste management, water, etc. This is something we see as Asian Paints. We have more than 15 manufacturing sites outside of India also. So in many of the developed countries, this is par for the course. This is something that is offered very easily. And again, this allows the entrepreneurs, this allows the investors to concentrate on what they are really good at, which is formulating products and selling them to the customer instead of worrying about infrastructure. Fourth priority, according to us, is reduction in import duty on key feedstock and key inputs. Import duty on key petrochemical feedstocks like naphtha, ethane, propane, and reformate needs to be rationalized. India is facing challenges due to cheap imports from low power cost countries in Southeast Asia and Middle East. Fifth, my friends, as a priority for us, for chemical industry and the plastic industry to grow, is to improve chemical logistics. Here, the most efficient logistics can be, I think, as we have seen in many other parts of the world, via pipelines. Co-location of chemical units will enable networks to be put in place, generally enhancing efficiencies. Rail is also a preferred mode in many developed markets, especially for hazardous cargoes. Chemical industry has shied away due to limited network on offer and perception of poor service. But things are changing. I think this is something, again, we can learn from the automotive sector, where the ancillary units and also the units for chemical industry that will rely on the feedstock can come up in the same park. So the industry currently is highly fragmented, and knowledge of the chemicals being transported and the response needed in the event of an emergency is poor. A case in point I would like to make: uncertain approval process or interstate transfer barriers hinder movements of ethanol. I think with GST, some of these things will get eased, but there are still, I think, many laws that all of us in the chemical industry at a state level and across state boundaries have to negotiate. Local manufacturers, because of that, sometimes have to shut down because they don't have easy access to raw materials across state lines. I think the last theme that I want to dwell on is green manufacturing and innovation. Green manufacturing and green products in chemical industry is no longer an oxymoron. We need to incentivize and promote this more rather than typecasting the whole industry as a red category. Yesterday, the Honorable Chief Minister, Sitaramaya spoke on how setting up an annual event to showcase innovative ideas in manufacturing can be held right here in Karnataka. I believe this will go a long way to provide a platform not only for startup, but for established players to learn from each other. It's very important to create an ecosystem, and we have, again, some other subject matter experts here who will dwell on that. But to create a setup which allows an easy exchange, easy monetization, easy scale-up of innovative ideas, and all this has to be done in a very sustainable manner. The factory that we are setting up here in Mysuru, 50% of the power requirement will come from renewable energy, whether it's solar or wind. So I think such investment can also be done as far as some of the byproducts that we have from chemical industry and converting them into energy sources. So, friends, in the closing, the government's focus in this budget was on creating infrastructure. The Indian middle class is expected to grow multifold, leading to a huge demand for specialty chemicals, whether it's automotive, water treatment, construction. Further, the government's decision to grant infrastructure status to affordable housing segment will provide ample push for the sector, as developers will now be able to get access to preferential and lower borrowing rates from banks. This will create a spurt in demand for chemicals, mainly in the construction space, but also things like admixture adhesives, sealants, flooring, waterproofing, repair and rehabilitation. The industry overall is highly dependent on imports, especially for high-end products. There is significant opportunity to make in India if the above bottlenecks are removed. If these pieces to the jigsaw were to fall in place, India's specialty chemical industry can definitely go places and can not be limited only to the borders of India, but can be a fairly large player in this part of the world. So friends, thank you for patiently listening to me, and let the good times begin for the chemical industry in India. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jalash Dani. I think he is the President of Chemicals, HR and Supply Chain of Asia Paints. A wonderful insight into key things like national chemical policy, addressing on safety, security, R&D, skilled manpower, lack of infrastructure, connectivity, power, and green manufacturing. I think he has dealt a lot of issues which is very significant in the current day's context. And also, Mr. Jalaj is a very senior member. He is also the president of the Indian Paint Association, an apex body of Indian paint industry. Also chairs the sectoral skill for paints and coating industry, which is also a part of Skill India launched by the Honorable Prime Minister. Let us give him a big hand. Thank you very much, sir. Next, I have a great pleasure in inviting Mr. Vishal, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Supreme Plasticizers. So he is going to touch upon the sustainability in terms of the plastic industry and some of the best practices he is going to share with us. Just to give a nutshell of Mr. Vishal, he is the Chief Executive of the company, and he is a postgraduate in business management and is guiding the operations and international marketing responsibilities of the company. He has been actively involved in the green and friendly operations, and he has set up a lot of good practices which he has been spreading to the other companies as well. And he has also been a recipient of several export awards and merit certificates from the Export Promotion Council. It's over to you, Mr. Vishal.
Very good afternoon. Thank you, sir. People on the dais, thank you. I want to talk about the key points about what we are doing in our company and about sustainability and things like that. Simple sustainability means taking care of the current needs of the present generation and meeting the needs of the future generation. In other words, sustainability means people, planet, and profits. Equity, economics, and profits. That's what sustainability means. I only want to show about few best practices what we are following in our industry and how we are doing. I joined our company in the year 2006, and I want to show about a few best practices what we are doing in our company. I joined in the year 2006, and we already had we were into solar lights. We had some wind turbines, and I did some expansion in our company in the year 8-9. When I was doing this expansion, I thought I should do something else also in this company. So my focus was about rainwater harvesting, but how to do it, I knew what to do it, but I didn't know how to do it. So I met one person by name Mr. Ravi Kumar, who is an important person known by a lot of people in the government, in the state. So he guided me about, He guided me about how we had to do it and things like that. So initially, I thought only rainwater harvesting is about collecting water, saving it, using it, and things like that. We had a plan. Our factory is 1.2 acres, and he told me how we can plan some rainwater harvesting. So all the roof water we collect, it goes through a filter. We save it. 3-4 months in a year we use that. Sustainability again here, seeing from a industrial point of view, I am saving on costs. Human being point of view, somebody down the line, if I stop using the corporation water, some industry or some house or some village is going to get some extra water. But when we created this, he told me what is more important. The water actually which falls on the land, which is called as rain runoff. Karnataka is an area where on an average season of rain, on 1 acre you will get around 30 to 32 lakh liters of rainwater. We should know how to save it. Rainwater is becoming a very important thing, and if we don't think about having solutions right now, I think we are going to face a very, very big issue regarding water. An average person digging borewell in Bangalore is going up to 1,300, 1,400 feet, which is very, very bad. So how we are responsible and what we are doing. We created something called, with these pictures, if you are seeing, we had a JCB which came in. This was a place where we thought we are not going to use in a factory. And by default, we had some natural slope. So we thought we are going to use this place and let us create something. So we had some JCB which came here, which just gave a rough shape and things like that. Then people, went in, started giving some shape and, things like that. So how this place is what we have created, it's a rainwater percolation well or a tank. These are waste stones from a granite factory, which we had to get it. We thought they're not one-time investment is going to be there, but we need a lot of maintenance to maintain this. So we thought, okay, let's plan it, let's do it, and we had to get some stones, all different shapes and things like that. All these are all waste stones from a granite factory. So slowly, this picture was made. The person who's doing, who's keeping the stones there, he's a man who's built, I don't know, maybe more than 500 or 1,000 number of tanks like that. He's not an engineer, but whatever the idea he has is there in his brain. So the way he does it, he just needs one man's support because he does not have his palm in his right hand. So this man, the way he was doing it, he just needed a place. He said, we will do it, I can do it, I can picturize it. We could not picturize it, but he could, because he has done so many, he could really picturize it. So this is how we started doing it. See, we started giving some shapes, slowly. Then we started putting some grass, and things like this. Water, we have to just give it some direction. Direction, if we give and tell it to do its job, it will do it. So this pit is a pit where first, from all the way wherever the water comes, topsoil, leaves, everything first collects here, and then the water goes to the main tank, and this is so that we don't lose the soil. We gave some enough support. So we are creating the path for the water to collect. So how we did it and things like that. This was what is there. This is right behind our factory in our own premises. So we created this, and this was the first rain which with the water collected, and slowly I wanted, when there was the first heavy rain, I was actually standing there wanting to see the water go to the big tank. So I was holding some umbrella and keeping the camera to take some pictures and things like that. This is the first rain water what we saved, and this it became, after a few days, this was the amount of water we collected, and this was last year. So we don't use this water. Thank you. We don't use this water. Usually everybody feels chemical industry has a very bad name. They are not responsible. They don't have values. They look at only their things. But we always wanted to say we are a responsible company. And with the place, with what we have, we want to do something. We don't use this water. We allow Mother Earth to drink this water. And this is an ecosystem what we have created. Now, this is a place where mosquitoes love to breed here, because they love stagnant water. So I left a small fish called, guppy, which is a hard water fish which can survive with any kind of weather. Now, because fish is there, frogs are coming. Because a frog is there, snakes are coming. Peacocks come, rabbits come. All these things come behind our factory to drink water and go. We are running a chemical factory, and these are things which come behind a factory. A lot of industries have seen this, a lot of corporation people have seen this, institutions have seen this, banks have seen this. There's a huge amount of energy here. If anybody can, when we go there, if you feel there is a huge amount of energy there. So this is what we have created, and I have guided a lot of people. I would be very helpful if anybody wants to want any information. I would love to share it. So this is one of the best practices what we are following, and our international customers are shocked about how we are doing it with the kind of place what we have. Our Japanese are they just can't believe it. They come and spend time there. We have our supplier who comes from Bombay and says, "Sir, पीछे बैठ के बात करेंगे. सब जगह office है. We'll sit behind and we'll have a discussion." So this is one of the best practices what we follow, and I thought I should share it with everybody here. Thank you. Thank you.